Hello there everybody, What Culture's Adam Clery here, and no, you are quite right, this is not What Culture Towers. I'm coming live and direct to you from Clery Heights, let's call it, in the sun-drenched People's Democratic Republic of Newcastle upon Tyne, England, because, as I'm sure you know, the world's kinda having a bit of a thing at the minute. Now, I'm sure you don't need me to go into all of that at the minute, but right here at What Culture, we are going to be keeping things as normal as possible over the coming weeks. So a backlog, a list of editorials, of things like that, they're all going to be going out as normal. And for our ad hoc things like ups and downs on wrestling, for the Chatty Faces videos, even ups and downs for Picard, right here, What Culture have very kindly furnished us all with home recording equipment, so the content will continue. And even though Trek Culture is a relatively new channel and we're still just getting it off the ground, I can assure you there is loads and loads and loads to come over there. I'm going to be shooting stuff from home, Marcus is going to be doing stuff, the rest of the What Culture team are going to be chipping in. So if you are at a bit of a loose end, trying to keep yourself entertained over the however long this goes on for, I would strongly recommend you head over and subscribe to that now. We are going to be doing loads and loads of stuff, even if the world is all going to hell slightly. Plus, and you know what, I'm a big believer that there is a silver lining to every cloud out there, no matter how heavy or ominous or terrifying it actually is. And, as I'm sure you noticed, the space jacket is back, because now that I no longer have to present these in front of a green screen, I am allowed to wear it on camera. You see, Chris, nothing to key out, my friend. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, yes, that was the introduction. We haven't got time for another one, so without further ado, my name is Adam Clery, and these are all the ups and downs for this week's episode of Star Trek Picard. Alright, so the first real thing we have to talk about is the La Sirena emerging from that trans-warp hub and then getting followed by the Snakehead, I think is the name of Narek's ship, and them having a little bit of a pew 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 before the Borg cube emerges, and it got me thinking that that's the first real thing of interest the Borg cube has done in this entire show, which is bad. Like, if you think back to the marketing and the hype and the excitement, it all kind of centered around that cube, this reclaimed Borg salvage thing, the artifact, the Romulan Reclamation Center, all this shadowy stuff was going on. It was still inhabited by tens of thousands of drones, and Soji was there, and when that green thing starts flashing, you'd better run. And I sat there and I thought, when that green thing starts flashing, that's going to be really exciting. And just nothing's really happened. It's just kind of been there as like the big backdrop to loads of exposition, as the window dressing for scenes where two siblings with far too much sexual tension got weirdly close and then far away, and are they going to bang and are they not? That's all it's really contributed to this show, and now it's crashed on a planet. Don't get me wrong, they might still pull it out of the dirt and it can play some big part in the finale, but unless it does, it's one of the most underutilized elements of this entire show. I was so excited for what that Borg cube was going to do, and it's literally done absolutely nothing. It's a down. But, and I've got to hand it to them, in absolute fairness, that shot where it emerged from the trans-warp hub and into the battle was, how do I put this? You can't see, but behind this camera right now is like my television setup and the sound and everything. I don't have a subwoofer, but if I had, what would have happened is it would have knocked me straight back into this seat. My fillings would have dissolved inside my mouth and my eyeballs would have shot out the back of my head through that little gap and into my kitchen. I have watched that 100 times now, and I will watch it 100 more. I don't even care that it arrived and it did effectively nothing. It's powering up its weapons and then didn't shoot anything. I don't even mind that it kind of got taken out by 3 space flowers and then just buried into the dirt. Those few seconds, that VFX shot was one of the most stunning things, not only in this show, but I've just seen in sci-fi in a very long time. It got an audible out of me, and nothing ever gets that. Anyway, it's just a small point, but it was genuinely awe-inspiring. I absolutely loved it. Even if you're not going to watch this episode, go and watch that. It gets an up. But then it does, doesn't it? It crashes into the planet. The La Sirena crashes into the planet, and everyone's like, right, should we go to the settlement and warn them about the 200-something Romulan ships that are on their way? And somebody goes, nah, should we don't know how long we've got. Like, it could be 2 days, it could be 5 minutes. We don't really know, but should we go see the wreckage first? It's a bit of a weird decision, wasn't it? But they do go and visit the wreckage, and it's great to see 7 of 9. She should have her own show by this point, and we get the Voyager theme tune in the background. More on that in a little bit. But just, do you remember when Hugh was in this show? Do you remember the touching, heartfelt, warm, emotional moments we got with his limited screen time and how great he was as a character, yeah? Remember how easily they killed him off? right? Well, his role in this episode, basically, the only reference you get, right, is Picard goes, "Hey, Seven, thanks so much for coming to our rescue. What a swell gal you are, etc." It's a real shame about Hugh, though. He must have... wait, sorry, what? You've got long-range sensors? This is the greatest day ever! Now, if I find out in years to come there was some kind of weird scheduling conflict that meant he could only film for like 2 days of the whole thing, so they had to write him out somehow, I might forgive the way they've treated him since they killed him off, but until then, I don't, and it's a down. Oh, Chris, it's just you. Chris, messaging me. Chris, there you go. AI soon. What are you going to say? Ha ha ha, you say. Thought that would pop you. I'm talking to you, but this is me talking to you in the past. By the time you're watching this, this is a... So technically, right now, I'm talking to you in the future. Because Look, everyone, Chris is messaging me on the lovely laptops What Culture provided us with. So technically, this is me talking to him in the future. No, me now, I'm talking to him in the future. That's good. Also, and I just feel like I'm on a bit of a downer with this so far, Elnor, do you remember when he was introduced as this, like, living embodiment of Picard's disappointment, as a personification of the people he'd let down, and a living reminder of how he couldn't ever do that again? Do you remember all that? And then he was what? The comic relief on Free Cloud. He magicked his way into a Borg cube, has said goodbye to Picard like 3 times now, but still had an emotional send-off with him, literally hours when you think about it, after the last one. That hug, that big moment, was just so weirdly unearned. This is one of the weirdest characters I've ever seen in a TV show. He's meant to be a ninja nun, and he's just a bit of a drip, isn't he? He's down as well. Plus, and also this might be me splitting hairs, but given that his whole mantra is he's going to bind himself to a lost cause, and in a situation where there are 2 lost causes, he will bind himself to the loster cause out of all of them. Are you telling me right now that what those XBs really need is a nun with a sword? I'm not saying, well, I don't know off the top of my head, 25 engineers and a giant tractor beam. That's what they need, is it? Alright, I'm going to try and be a little bit more positive now. Brent Spiner is in this episode. He plays Dr. Artemis Ingenious, Alfred Indigo, Adam, is it? Soong, AI Soong. Basically, there's a joke there, artificial intelligence Soong. Either he's going to be Law or something in the future, or that's just a little bit of a popper. I don't know. He plays a new version of Dr. Soong. He did it in Enterprise, he did it in The Next Generation, and now he's doing it here as well. And isn't it just nice to have him back? The thing is, for a show that's primarily about Data and his legacy, there's been precious little actual Data in all of this. He was in the first few episodes of Picard's flashbacks, but they've not like recorded any new footage, or they haven't really shown us any clips in previous episodes. He's kind of been weirdly absent in all of this story, and we're not getting him back obviously with Brent Spiner coming back, but it is the closest thing we're going to get, and it is enough. Also, if you haven't given it a watch yet, our own Chris Thompson did this incredibly touching supercut over on the Trek Culture Twitter, where he sort of marries the conversation between Soji and Picard with his memories of Data. It brought a genuine little tear to my eye, it did. If you've not seen it, go check it out. And his performance here is of a whole new character. Like, it's not Dr. Noonien Soong, and it's not Data, and it's not Law, or is it? Ooh, it's of a whole new character, and he plays it in such a manner, but he leaves in just enough subtle touches of Data and enough subtle touches of what made the android that you can trace the familiar lines back. You can see how they are, in a word, brothers. It's really, really good, this. It's an up. And it's while we're in this settlement, we get loads and loads of just lovely little touches. And if I'd really wanted to, I could have made each of them their own individual up, but then it would have been like 15 ups, and that's just absurd for a 15-minute show, so I'm going to try and bundle them all into one point. Like I said before, we had the Star Trek Voyager theme playing for 7 of 9. That's now her hero theme, which is lovely and touching. All the androids, some of them anyway, on the planet have that reminiscent skin and eye tone that Data used to have, clearly showing the evolution they've had while they've been being developed. Spot, too, being the name of the cat, a reference to Data's cat, Spot, when he was on the Enterprise. Just loads of little stuff like that. That little bit where Sutra goes, fascinating. After it's been revealed she's been studying Vulcan culture, which is clearly a little reference to Spock's go-to phrase he always used to use. And even the naming conventions of the androids on this planet are similar to Data and Law, if you think they're sort of 2 words that mean opposite sides of the same thing. The 2 women are called Arcana and Saga, which works like that, and the 2 bald men are called Rune and Codex. It's all very subtle, it's all very clever, and shows how much love and appreciation is being put into the show by people who truly do know what Star Trek means to people. It's nice, it's an up. Tell you what though, I'll tell you what is absolutely not an up, right? We meet Sutra don't we? She's like an earlier version of Daj and Soji, and she looks a bit like Data, and she's got the eyes and she's got the skin, and she's very well spoken, very confident, very sure of herself in the ways that Soji is not. And wouldn't you know it, oh my god, I hope you're sitting down for this one, but it turns out she's an evil woman. First we met Admiral Clancy. She wasn't very nice, was she? She dropped Star Trek's first ever F-bomb and then slung Picard out of her office. Women, what are they like, eh? Then we meet Commodore O. She's meant to be this like Vulcan head of Starfleet, but no, it turns out she's actually a Romulan spy and head of this shadowy organization which was responsible for the synth attacks on Mars, is responsible also for tens of thousands of deaths and the ban on artificial life. Women, what are they like, eh? Then, of course, we meet Bejazzle on Free Cloud. She's really horrible as well, isn't she? She's been harvesting these living XBs for parts. She killed poor Icheb. Women, what are they like, eh? But it's fine because they managed to rescue Bruce Maddox for her, don't they? Get him back onto the ship. And then, oh my god, Agnes, she kills Bruce Maddox, her lover, in his hospital bed because, I mean, god, women, what are they like, eh? And then finally, of course, we have Narissa. She's the real evil one. She's been manipulating her brother the whole time. She's going to be the big bad at the end of it. She's lethal. She kills Hugh because, I mean, god, women, what are they like, eh? Then we meet Sutra on the planet. She's just a normal android. She's related to Soji somehow. She's sexy and she's very confident, but no, she actually wants to bring about the deaths of all organic life in the entire universe. She is evil and maniacal because women, what are they like, eh? Don't get me wrong, it is nice to see so many different women all having agency in their own stories, but just for a change, could they not use this power for evil? That would be very nice. Down. Honestly, right, it wouldn't surprise me if at this stage the super predator aliens that descend on the galaxy and wipe out all organic life turn out to just be the fembots from Austin Powers, because why not? And do you know what? That actually got me thinking as well, because the whole premise of this episode is that, no, actually, the Romulans, they've been misunderstanding the admonition. It's not about you need to wipe out all artificial life, otherwise this super predator species will descend from the stars and wipe out all organic life to try and combat it. It's not that at all. It's not a warning, you idiot Romulans. It's not a warning. What it actually is it's a beacon for artificial life. So if they're ever in danger, they can call upon this intergalactic super predator species that will descend from the stars and wipe out all organic life instead. Duh! Which means that while the Romulans might have slightly misunderstood the purpose of the message, they didn't misunderstand the overall message, which means they were right, which means it was a good idea to do the synth attacks, which means it's an even better idea that they arrive out of warp speed and obliterate this entire planet, which means they're the good guys. What? And all this stuff about Soji being the destroyer, she's not the destroyer, she's not responsible for all this, she just brings Agnes to the planet where they can mind meld the admonition out of her and decide to build the beacon. So it's only very directly her fault. Now, maybe I've totally misunderstood that, or maybe I've understood it correctly and I've just missed the point, or something like that. Maybe it'll all get made clear in the final episode, but in the here and now, it's just sort of made the good guys the bad guys because they've accidentally brought all this about, and also made the bad guys the good guys because they're going to come and try and fix it. That's a bad plot twist. That's a down. But you know me, I absolutely hate ending on a down because, well, there are enough downs in real life without adding them here, so I'm going to end on an up. And this might just have been me as well, but did anybody else get massive TOS vibes from this episode? Did it not really feel like an episode of the original Star Trek? The ship gets attacked by a giant flower, which is very original Star Trek, and they end up on this planet which is all rocky and deserty and quite sparse, which is very original Star Trek. And then they go to this near utopian settlement, very original Star Trek, where they meet this like population, this small population of scantily clad, attractive young men and women, very original series, and their leader, a slightly frail, very easily manipulated, older, wiser, but nonetheless being played old man. Very original series. Now, this might just be me, but aesthetically speaking, this was a very pleasing episode of television. The whole look, the whole feel, everything about it just felt like very Star Trek-y. It was a treat for the senses. It gets an up. And let's say I am right, and this was all some love letter, some homage to the original series. Then between that, Voyager's theme tune playing when 7 of 9 came on, the whole hour we spent with the Rikers having pizza around the ready room table, and the fact that Quark appears to have set up an intergalactic Weatherspoons, there is so much of the old Star Trek to find and enjoy in this. I don't know why people say there isn't. And that's it, those are all the ups and downs for this week's episode of Star Trek Picard, watched entirely in isolation by me in my flat, where I'm starting to go slightly mad. Let me know what you made of it all in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But before I go, very quickly, don't forget to subscribe to Trek Culture, and wherever you are in the world, whatever is happening there, whatever your advised precautions are, I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are well. If you want to chat about stuff, I am available on Twitter at Adam Clery. It would be nice to take your mind off something, because basically every time I pick my phone up now, I'm like, oh, I wonder what further horrors await me from the little magic horrors box. But yes, that's been me. That's been Star Trek Picard. I will see you probably right here next week for the season finale. But until then, happy Star Trekking. That's not very good. Goodbye.